Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
It's my pleasure to call to order our Griffin City Commission this evening. We're delighted to have a nice group out there. It's good to see y'all. Appreciate you coming. We're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance this evening led by Commissioner Ward and invocation by Commissioner Holberg. If you would please rise and join us.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we are here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. Second. We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise a hand. Thank you. Unanimous. Okay, first part of our agenda is presentations and delegations. Number one is to consider a proclamation declaring the week of April 17 through 23, 2016 to be Georgia Cities Week and incorporate this year's theme of Go to Town for this year's planned events. I'll read the proclamation after we approve it, and we'll ask Mr. Miller to make a couple of comments. Is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved. Second.
Motion to second. All in favor, please raise your hand. And the proclamation reads thus. Georgia Cities Week. Whereas city government is the closest to most citizens and has the most direct daily impact upon their lives, city government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent on public commitment to and an understanding of its many responsibilities. And whereas city government officials and employees share the responsibility of passing along their understanding of public services and benefits, they can educate citizens about the numerous partnerships with groups that help to bring quality of life that both celebrates our past and anticipates our future with a focus on redevelopment and sustainability. And whereas the GMA and its member cities have joined together to teach students and other citizens about municipal government through a variety of different projects and information, Georgia Cities Week, with this year's theme, Go to Town, is designed to encourage events, displays, and activities that highlight the importance of our municipalities and the efforts to revitalize downtown areas. And whereas Georgia Cities Week offers an important opportunity to convey to all the citizens of Georgia that they can shape and influence government through their civic involvement, Georgia Cities Week gives cities an opportunity to share information about the valuable services cities provide to residents and how cities positively impact their quality of life. The week is also an opportunity to celebrate community achievements and recognize volunteers and city employees. Cities are also encouraged to use social media to celebrate or to post interesting facts about the city to its followers. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims April 17 through 23, 2016 as Georgia Cities Week in the City of Griffin, Georgia, and encourages all of its citizens, elected officials, and employees to recognize this week's purpose of highlighting our city services and vision and celebrate it accordingly. We do hereby declare that a copy of this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of the proceedings of this board, reflecting that I have hereunto caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed on this, the 12th day of April in the year of our Lord 2016, signed by myself and Kenny Smith, City Manager. And Mr. Miller, would you like to address this in any way?
Just briefly, Georgia Cities Week is an opportunity to really highlight some of the things that we've been working on around the city and really show citizens, just how we positively impact their lives, and also a chance to highlight some volunteers and city employees. The lack of never having a city picnic. So the event that we have planned really embodies the spirit of Georgia Cities Week, and we appreciate all the support and help that we've been able to get with this. This is the second or third time I think we've done it, and we look forward to doing more in the future. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. And for those who don't know, Brian Miller is our Citizen Engagement Specialist, and we are doing our best to engage our citizens positively and get out the factual information. I used to joke and say if we didn't have misinformation, we have no information at all, and Mr. Miller's doing his best to correct that and do that. So thank you very much. Item number 2 is to consider a proclamation declaring April 19, 2016 to be Griffin Lineman Appreciation Day. We got a little feedback here. Okay. April 19th to be Griffin Lineman Appreciation Day, and Dan Thompson, Electric Director, will address. If he has anything to say, do you have anything to say, Dan? By the way, while we're waiting for Dan to come up, all those who would like to approve the proclamation?
Make a motion.
We have a motion. Second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. We have a few of our line crew with us tonight. Part of this journey in life is very special to myself. I started out in this same business many years ago, and I'm just very fond and very proud of these safe, dedicated workers that we have. And come on up here, guys.
Mr. McCord is going to read our proclamation for you, Dan.
Yeah, get behind the podium.
Podium makes you look small.
There's nobody in here taller than 6'3", is it? Young man. Not close to me. I can't be photographed with people taller than me. Thank you. Proclamation, Griffin Lineman Appreciation Day, whereas the City of Griffin and Griffin Power recognize the efforts of linemen in keeping the power on and protecting public safety, and whereas the profession of lineman is steeped in personal, family, and professional tradition for these true public servants, and whereas linemen are often first responders during storms and other catastrophic events, working to make the scene safe for other public safety heroes. They work every day in potentially hazardous conditions, often in extreme weather, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, to keep the power flowing for the rest of us. And whereas linemen work in dangerous situations with thousands of volts of electricity high atop power lines, away from their own families, to construct and maintain the energy infrastructure of this city, this state, and often as backup to out-of-state locations in need. And whereas linemen put their lives on the line literally every day with little recognition from the community regarding the inherent danger of their work, and whereas recognizing that the state of Georgia has designated April 19, 2016 as Georgia Lineman Appreciation Day, and also that the U.S. Senate has so designated April 19, 2016 as National Lineman Appreciation Day, it is most fitting and proper that the linemen of Griffin Power be recognized for their effective and dedicated service to the people of the City of Griffin. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim April 19, 2016 as Griffin Lineman Appreciation Day in the City of Griffin, Georgia, and urges all citizens to pause and to reflect on their contributions and to thank any lineman you see, whether they are working near your home or you see them at a local restaurant, church, or school event, for their commitment and dedication to keeping the power on for all of our residents. We do hereby declare that a copy of this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of the proceedings of this board, reflecting that the mayor or chairman has caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed on this day, the 12th day of April in the year of our Lord 2016, signed by the chairman, Mayor Dick Morrow, and the city manager, Mr. Kenneth Smith.
Thank you, fellas. We appreciate the work you do a great deal. Thompson, you have anything else you want to say?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Don't mention.
Next, we have a joint proclamation with Spalding County to welcome Topan Printing Company Limited, a Japan-based manufacturing firm, to Griffin and Spalding County. And we have already presented this at the grand opening at Topan, but we had not had a chance to officially approve it. We have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. Like I say, that was already presented at their grand opening. Item number 4, special part of the program for us. We want to recognize Lorna Walters, Customer Service Representative with the Customer Service Electric Department, as the March 2016 Strongest Link Award recipient. And again, our Electric Director, Dan Thompson, will address.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to read a narrative submitted by Ms. Laura Stewart, Lorna's supervisor, and it states, from the time that Lorna completed her training to be a Customer Service 1 phone room representative and took over her responsibilities, she became the only phone representative in the phone room for the next 5 months. After Lorna joined the team, one representative went out on medical leave and did not return, and the other representative was promoted to another position within Customer Service Department. Replacing the open position became a long, drawn-out affair, which took many months. Throughout it all, Lorna remained positive, professional, and courteous to our customers who called in via the telephone for customer service. That had to be a daunting task, as at the time, our phone lines in the Customer Service Department were continually tied up with the customers who were calling in to make payments via credit cards. The volume was overwhelming, and while Lorna's frustration level must have been high at many times, she never let it show. Lorna has been a true understanding of what customer service is about, even when she's faced with the overwhelming task of handling the phone room alone for so many months. She's treated our customers in the way she wanted to be treated, with respect, no matter what the situation was. She assisted them with whatever she was able to when the situation was outside of her abilities. She reached out to her supervisor. Her service to our customers has been such an excellent nature that one of our customers felt so moved that she sent in an article to the Griffin Daily News about her experience, and it was printed. I'm happy to say that we now have the invoice cloud in place, which has alleviated a great number of the calls to make credit card payments. We also have a new phone room employee who just finished her training, who is a great help to Lorna. However, the merit of a wonderful employee is not necessarily how they perform when the going is easy. The merit of a wonderful employee is how they perform when the department is severely short-staffed, or they are tasked with a duty in which they really do not want to perform, or they have to work with a coworker who they really do not care for. When the going is tough, the shining stars, as I like to call them, will always step up to the plate. Lorna is one of those shining stars in the Customer Service Department. She has proved for months that she has handled the phone room single-handedly with a positive attitude and with the city's customers' best interests always in mind. This is the definition of the strongest link in the chain, in my most humble opinion. I couldn't agree with it more. And
Lorna, would you come
she
forward?
has done just an absolutely wonderful job.
And Laura, you want to join her?
I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Just a minute, please. Thank you for writing that narrative. That was excellent. And every word of it's true. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I know customer service just keeps racking these things up all the time. I'm so proud of you guys. If you go into our lobby, you just see one award after another, and these are not passed out, I can assure you. These are earned, not given.
Turn around for the photo op.
Here's another token for you to take your director out to dinner. Thank you very much.
Where's the chain?
Thank you.
Okay, y'all turn around
I
for the
don't know where my
photo
chain
op.
is. My chain's not here. I'll get the chain to you. I don't know what happened to my chain.
Got repo.
Somebody liked it so much they kept it.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get a chain, but it's not here tonight, but this is a chain that you can keep.
Oh, I told her about your birthday.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
I told you, man. Wristband. They can wear them whenever they want to.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart.
Thanks, customer service.
On behalf of the board, we are always very proud of our strongest link employees, and it's just a touch of the incredible employee group that we have, and we're proud of them. Thank you so much. And now from the sublime to the ridiculous, let's talk financials. We're going to review our financial reports for February, and our Chief Financial Officer, Marcus Schwab, will address. Good evening, Marcus.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. As ridiculous as it sounds, I'm now doing the presentation off the phone, so
All right.
we've made it a lot smaller. So the numbers should be easier to get through. It should be a smaller presentation. So, we present to you the cash balance report. Any questions on that? List all the funds.
Yeah, I did have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Popped in my mind. The municipal court fund is 4 times what it was before. Is that just that we haven't swept it recently, or?
That's correct.
So it's time to
Yes.
sweep it, huh?
Yes, well, okay, let me preface that with, the monies are moved upon adjudication. Once it processes the court system, and those monies are then cleared on the case, then that money gets pulled out of the court and put into the general fund. So it's based on the closing out of the cases. So yes, monies will accrue and continue to build in that fund, but they'll hold there in trust until the case is cleared and then passed along.
Okay, well, I know
Yes,
there was
But
quite
yeah,
a chunk of money there, unusually large.
it's time to verify those reports. Yes, I agree.
And the second question I had is our 2 TADs, particularly TAD number 2, are accruing pretty large sums of money, and I don't know if we have any plans for those TAD funds for the districts, but
Yes, sir.
they're coming in well.
Yes, the revenue projections for the 17 are reflecting that change in the composition. Though bear in mind that those monies come in, they will come in for the TAD bonds. So that money cannot be used.
That's right, I forgot the bonds.
But not TAD 1.
Correct.
TAD 1 is for the Central Business District.
Yeah,
Correct.
TAD 1 is no bonds.
Correct.
So we're accruing money for projects downtown, but it's starting to add up, I notice.
Yes, sir.
Anything else on the cash report? Okay, continue.
All right, local option sales tax. Any questions on the distributions, or just bear in mind that in 2 months or so, we'll begin to see the reports coming in with April collections for the 2016 SPLOST.
I do think it's encouraging we're ahead of budgeting on sales tax, and this is the highest sales tax in the last 3 years running, so Griffin is recovering if there's any good news in that.
Yes, sir.
All right, continue.
And then the last item on the list today is the fund financial statements. Do we have any questions by fund, operations, revenue, expenditures, capital?
Other than solid waste, which I understand we're gonna have a discussion on our next workshop
Yes, sir.
about that particular issue. Right?
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you, Marcus. We always appreciate you.
Thank you.
This is the citizens' comment portion of our program. Let me read this. At this time, the chairman opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. Chairperson reserves the right to limit comment to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said that, let's start on my right. Anybody on my right side like to come forward and address the commission? How about on the left side? Anybody like to come forward and address the commission? Okay. Moving on. Public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, other legislative actions to be considered by this commission. So, item number 6. Receive comments regarding a request for a special use permit to allow the use of a single-family dwelling in the PCD zoning district for property located at 215 South 11th Street, submitted by Doug Lane, and our Director of Planning Development, Mr. Toussaint Kirk, will address this. Good evening, Mr. Toussaint.
Good evening. Yes, sir. This situation here is, basically you have a single-family residence that's located in the commercial zoning district. Rather than having it be rezoned, the best solution at the time is to have it as a special use. The special use will be in effect unless he vacates the property for more than a year. He's tried to, I guess, rent or lease the property as commercial use, but he's gotten more interest as rental, single-family rental. So the Planning and Zoning Board and the staff recommend approval of the request for a special use to be used at this location.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience like to address this issue? If not, how about the board? Do you have any comments or questions anywhere?
None here.
Okay. Moving on, item number 7. Receive comments regarding a request for a special use permit to allow a funeral home to operate in HDRB zoning district for the property located at 847 North 9th Street, submitted by Charles M. Burden. And again, Toussaint Kirk, our director, will address.
Yes, sir. The HDRB zoning district requests that a special use permit be utilized to operate a funeral home at this location. The location is an existing church now. From what I understand, it will be only used for funeral services only. There will be no cremation or anything of that nature. Again, Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval of the request with the following conditions. Condition 1 being maximum occupancy be based on formulas contained in the statewide minimum building codes, fire and life safety compliance based on inspection, register with the City of Griffin occupational tax permit, and upon vacating this location for its principal use, the special use permit will be voided. In addition, all burials will be held off-site and no crematory shall be operated at this location.
Again, this is a public hearing. Anyone wish to address this issue? How about the board? Questions, comments? All right, seeing none, we'll move on.
No, I do have.
Okay, yes, sir.
Mr. Perrin does he already have a funeral home here in Griffin in the city limits?
He does.
Will he have 2 locations, one location?
Well, he's outgrown the existing location, so therefore he's moving to the new location here.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Will it be in the building immediately behind the church or the one that's in the very back?
Good question. He's here, he can address that question.
Give us your name and address, Sir, for our records. We have to have your name and address on the record.
My name is Charles Burden. The building between the two will be used exactly for the funeral home. The church building or in the auditorium will be used just basically for a chapel.
Okay.
So you will have everything, including the church building, with the people that have church now, they'll still be running the church? But
if they would like to stay, I hadn't came to that point to discuss. They did mention that they would want to stay, but after I purchase it,
so you purchase everything?
I'm buying everything.
Okay.
So yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions?
Will this, with the acquisition, will that be a for-profit or no non-profit?
For-profit.
Funeral
Excuse
home.
the question. Give me the question again.
Will the property be a not-for-profit or not-for-profit?
It'll basically be for profit.
You certainly hope so, right?
Yes, I hope so.
In other words, it'll be taxable at this point, once
Yeah, I
it
know.
goes private.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Burden. No one else, will move on then. Consent agenda is consider approval of the minutes of the March 22nd workshop and regular meeting. Any additions or corrections? Not a motion to approve the consent agenda is in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. McLemore? Ms. Warden? Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes? Unanimous? All right, our regular agenda. Item number 9, consider approval of request for a special use permit to allow the use of a single-family dwelling unit in the PCD zoning district for the located at 215 South 11th Street, submitted by Doug Lane.
Make a motion that we approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cord, Mr. Brock, discussion. All in favor? Unanimous. Item number 10. Consider approval of a request for special use permit to allow a funeral home to operate in the HDRB zoning district for the property located 847 North 9th Street, submitted by Mr. Burden. And this approval includes 6 conditions.
Make a motion approved.
Second.
Holberg and McCord motion with the conditions to approve. Discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. You're approved, Mr. Burton. Number 11, consider approval to implement an Internet Master Service Agreement that sets the terms and conditions for selling Internet bandwidth to customer businesses and authorize staff to negotiate pricing with business customers for individual needs with a service agreement. And Mr. Jack Poland, our Chief Information Officer, will address. Good evening, Jack.
Good evening.
I like the idea of selling something I can't see.
It's wonderful. What this basically has given the city is the ability to actually, for businesses that want internet service, to actually sign it with the city based off according of the master service agreement. They'll do a work order, and then we'll do a contract with them, and we'll sell them internet.
Now, you had a couple gentlemen here that were doing a project for the schools. Did that go forward?
That is a different contract altogether.
Okay.
And I'm still working that.
Okay.
We're just waiting for the contract to get signed by AFN to bring it forward to the board.
Okay, that's totally separate, but it is still in the works.
Yes, sir. It is in the works. This is actually a good news story for us because I know we've had interest in it. We've had even some of the board members bring it to my attention. They've had people in businesses that are not happy with the service they've got now. So I think this is a good thing because we'll be able to really be competitive and give businesses locally, since we got the fiber in our city, internet services. We've got the external network stood up. We're able to do this, so we're ready to move forward. And that's what the master service agreement will allow us to do.
Mr. Holberg, do you have a question?
Do you have an idea of what cost will be for residential versus commercial?
It's basically going to depend because we don't know the egress, we don't know the distance that will be going from where we have our fiber into their location, what conditions are we going to be faced with. So it's something we can't just come up and say it's going to be this, because every provider even today will do a survey and they'll actually say, well, it'll be this plus installation, or so we're really just trying to get prepared to really start moving forward with some of the businesses if they want our service, and then we'll negotiate those pricings of, it depends on how much bandwidth they want, how little bandwidth they need, how much it's going to be required to get into the building from where our fiber is located. There's a lot of extremities here that we'll have to think about and negotiate.
Doug, this is not
We're
residential.
not
Not
doing
residential,
residential.
business.
It's not residential, it's business, strictly business.
And will those contracts come back to this board for approval, or is that being taken care of with this?
The master this master service agreement is no more than anybody signing up for utilities in the city. No, sir, it will not. I mean, this basically is going to give us the ability to basically sell services like we do electric and water, and it'll be based off of the amount of service they need, and we'll set up the contract and define the rate.
Okay. Well, I have to congratulate you and your team for this. This is another little revenue source, and after we discussed our insurance costs this morning, we're going to need it.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments?
I would like to give the staff a lot of credit. Mr. Cotton here's tonight, but we've taken an awful lot of, we've put a lot of work into it. We've actually built an entire external network to the city's internal network. So, this has been something that we've really been working on for some months now. And so, this is a good news story. And I think it's going to help the city out immensely in the future. It's also something that I think we can market, because every city now, businesses coming in, that's what they want. They're looking at that just as much as they look at the grid and they look at the water. So I think this is going to be really good for the city.
You know, there are a lot of cities that are screaming to try to get internet service to encourage business, and the fact that we have one, and a good one, is a great step forward. I'm impressed.
So, I'll be more than happy to keep updated as far as when we bring customers on, what we're doing periodically, so keep you informed.
Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Have a motion to approve, Ms. Ward. Second? Second. Ms. McNamara. Discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you,
Thank
Jack.
you.
Go forth and sell. Item number 12, consider approval of direct MEAG Power to place 100% of the city's 2015 MEAG Power year-end settlement fund of $1,693,530 in the city's MEAG Municipal Competitive Trust Flexible Operating Account short-term portfolio and authorize execution of the MEAG Power Project's 2015 year-end settlement election form by City Commission Chair and City Manager. I'll say you.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Holberg?
Second.
Mr. McCord? Discussion? All in favor? And Ms. Flowers had an engagement she had to go to, so she apologized for leaving early. All right, unanimous, I believe it was.
Was.
Item number 13, consider approval of direct MEAG Power to place 100% of the city's 2015 MEAG Telecommunications year-end settlement refund of $4,153 into the city's MEAG Municipal Competitive Trust Flexible Operating Account short-term portfolio and authorize execution of the MEAG Power Telecommunications 2015 year-end settlement election form by the Commission Chair and City Manager.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion, and I think Ms. Ward seconded first. Discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Item number 14, consider approval and authorize the drawdown of up to, not to exceed $2.5 million for the City of Griffin's MEAG Municipal Competitive Trust short-term portfolio and incremental draws as needed for certain purchases and maintenance and amend the budget accordingly. I'll say.
Second.
A motion to approve, I think Mr. Holberg, was it? Huh?
I thought I heard somebody else.
Well, somebody.
I'll do it.
All right, Mr. Brock.
I thought I heard him.
As long as
Second,
it's
and
done.
Mr. Holberg second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. 15, consider approval of accepting a non-matching grant from Central Georgia EMC Foundation amount of $1,620 and amend the budget accordingly. We will take the money, right, Mr. Hamilton? Is there anything you wish to say?
Second.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second, discussion? All in favor? You got the money, John. I don't think we've ever turned down any grants, have we? Number 16, consider approval, consider approval to accept a grant in the amount of $15,770.25 from the Firehouse Subs Foundation, Inc. for the purpose of purchasing 7 automatic external defibrillators and amend the budget accordingly.
Motion approved.
Motion approved, Ms. Ward.
Second.
Okay, Mr. McLemore, second. Discussion. All in favor? Unanimous, right, Mr. Holberg?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got more money, John. Number 17, consider approval to accept the grant in the amount of $950 from the Southern Rivers Energy MC to fund a child car seat technician class sponsored by Griffin Fire Rescue and amend the budget accordingly.
Motion approved.
Ms. Ward, a motion approved, and a second. Wasn't sure who seconded, it was Mr. Gordon. Discussion. All in favor? John, you're doing well tonight. Number 18, consider approval of the SCADA system for Potato Creek wastewater plant upgrade and expansion to MR systems in the amount of $193,786 for the Water Wastewater Department of Public Works and Utility budget, and this was budgeted as part of the plant rebuild. It's in the overall budget.
Motion approved.
A motion to approve, Ms. Ward. Second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Holberg. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Again, it's unanimous. Thank you. Number 19, consider the approval to purchase a 20-ton drop deck trailer from JME Sales, Inc. in the amount of $18,825 for the Stormwater Department of the Public Works and Utility Department.
Motion approved.
Ms. Ward, a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Mr. McLemore. Discussion. In favor? Unanimous. Number 20, consider approval of a supplemental agreement for LEMIG 2016 for highway safety with the Georgia Department of Transportation for line striping of city streets and certifying the rights-of-way and the submittal request for the Department of Public Works of the Public Works and Utilities Department. And we have a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Motion approved, Ms. Ward.
Second.
Second, Mr. McElmore, and I have a question. This is additional LMIG money from what we got.
Yes, the state has some more money.
Okay, that's what I understood when I read this extra LMIG money. Very good. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous, thank you. 21, consider approval to surplus golf course Toro 5-gang mower and approved direct sale to Hickory Hills Golf Club in amount of $1,000. And this thing was, I forget how old, 20 years or something.
Make a motion to approve the sale.
Mr. Holberg make a motion, and a second, Ms. Ward. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. 22, consider approval of 2016 spring campaign for the Service Line Warranties of America program offered to City of Griffin residents, which is a continuation of our other program. We have 300 or 400 folks involved in this evidently. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion, Mr. Brock. I'll second it for discussion, and I got a feeling there's some coming.
I feel the same way. I just think it's a year ago. Enjoy signing that.
Well, they signed it without me even knowing I signed it. That's what was great about last year.
I personally think it's city endorsing a private company, as others have said before, and question the value and the worth.
Well, we evidently have citizens that like the service, they take it, so. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. All opposed? Does not pass. We are stalemated.
Just had to wait for court.
Okay, well, at the moment, we are tied. Okay. Mr. City Manager, your report, and we had an interesting workshop.
Yes, sir, thank you very much for your time this morning, and I know the employees appreciate you listening and all of the information that was provided, so thank you, and we took your comments and are working on the budget. So the next few days, weeks, months, if you can't find me, I'll be working on the budget. So if I don't respond as quickly as usual, just keep trying or track me down. I have Teresa track me down. I'll be working on the budget. Just a couple of quick highlights on Georgia Cities Week next week. Couple of things that I hope that you'll participate in, particularly on Wednesday morning. We're sponsoring our Industries Appreciation Breakfast. Griffin Power will be the sponsor of that, and we're going to host all of our industries and have them in here, so I hope you'll join us at the Welcome Center at 7:30 Wednesday morning. And Saturday the 23rd is our employee picnic, so we'll know you don't want to miss that at City Park from noon until 5 p.m. Saturday week. So those are just a couple of the highlights of Georgia Cities Week, and we put out a complete list of activities going on all week, and hope you'll participate. Had a great grand opening for Toe Pond this past week, and the hospital also, the transition to WellStar, had a great grand opening there at the Welcome Center, and we're excited about what WellStar is bringing to our community as well. And that concludes my report.
I plan to be at the existing industries. I don't know, do you need a head count? Have you already gotten one, or, but I'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay. You do need a head count? Yeah, if y'all will just let us know definitely
Brock,
within
are
the
you
next.
gonna be able to make it?
Yes, I'm gonna make it.
Ms.
It's
Ward?
by the 13th, I think it is, isn't it?
Mr. McCord?
On RSVP
Mr.
by the
McLemore?
13th.
I'll get in touch with them.
Mr. McLemore will defer until he talk, and Mr. Holborn?
I'm on hold right now.
Okay, so we know that 5 of us will be there for sure, Mr. Okay? Mr. Whalen?
I don't have anything.
Holborn?
Just wanted to reflect, we've had several compliments in terms of our public works projects that are going in place. Dr. Keller thank you for your leadership on the road surfacing to intersection improvement project. And just want to thank the staff for their hard work. We continue to get compliments from citizens about the efficiencies and what we're doing as a board and as a community, so thank you.
Mr. McCord.
First, I want to welcome back Mr. Roger Miller, who I know
I
has
see him back.
been on a little slight vacation from us for a while. Just glad to see him back in the place. Always.
Hey,
good to
Mr.
see
Miller,
you.
good evening.
Watching my back for me, appreciate it, Mr. Miller. Also want to commend the code enforcement and the solid waste department. Had a terrible situation at Carrington Village, or the villages at Carrington. It's a small subdivision between Pine Hill Apartments and Carriage Hills, and they got a dumpster out there that is being used by people that from the county, people that don't live out there in that area, that's coming over there dumping garbage, all type of solid waste, sofas, everything is over there, and just want to make sure that we enforce the same rules with code enforcement that we would if we were on any other street in the city of Griffin, that those residents, those children won't have to walk out of their doors and look over at that garbage and that trash in front of their homes. So I appreciate them getting out there and alleviating that problem for those residents in that area. Thanks again.
Mr. Brock.
Don't have anything, sir.
Couple quick things. We are moving forward in the airport. People keep asking me. We had a productive meeting with GDOT yesterday and at the authority last night. We're in the middle of buying land, and we've signed a contract with Georgia Transmission and Georgia Power for relocating the power lines around what will be the runway. That is making progress. It's slow. Also, I was proud this morning when I saw this board, our manager and our staff and our employees all here together wrestling with this insurance premium issue, and I thought the greater team, considering everybody, was very productive. There are no real wins in this. There's only tough decisions, but I thought it was nice that our employees came forward and we listened to them and they listened to us, and we had a great discussion. So I thought it was a good moment for the city. Anything else? Oh, by the way, I'm preparing to dodge golf balls thrown at my head.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor, please rise.